Like, that's what this means.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. Me either. It's crazy, yo. Welcome to Art Podcast, special edition for Fewocious's very own Christie's drop.
Oh my gosh, I have a Christie's drop.
You have a Christie's drop.
Dude, I remember the first Christie's drop and everyone was freaking out. And I remember Coldy, he called me and he said, "There's a Christie's drop. That's really big news."
Beatles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, Christie's." And he was explaining it's the traditional art market coming into the space. How remarkable is that? And I remember sitting there being like, dang, one day. Like that would be the dream.
That was like less than 6 months ago.
And now you see these 5 paintings I did, and it's nuts.
Yeah, these look wonderful. And I was lucky enough to see some of this work taking place over the past few months. How much imagination, storytelling, heart, and soul you put into it, and it's been really awesome to see. Do you want to, I guess, talk a little bit about the process of, let's say, day one when you found out you had a Christie's drop? What would your mind do? Where'd it go to?
I mean, when I found out there was a Christie's drop, I had a Christie's drop. First of all, I couldn't believe that was real. And then I didn't know, Andrew was like, "I think it would be really cool if we made it about you, like really about you." And I was always scared that, I don't know if I talk too much about being trans, will people not want to listen to me? Will that push people away?
Mm-hmm.
But Noah Davis at Christie's completely embraced the idea of identity and exploring my life. And it's so nuts. I was stunned. I was on my whiteboard. I wrote all these ideas and I got really deep. And I remember taking a picture of the whiteboard, sending it to a group chat. And my butt was sweating. I was clenching my butt cheeks, just so anxious. And they were both like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
And, you know, you hear Christie's, you hear this big, fancy thing.
It's like larger than life.
Exactly. And then when they accepted, you know, to me, I'm little old me. And they said, "Yeah, of course, come. Let's celebrate Pride Month. Hell yeah, be you." I was over the moon. And looking at it now, it's turned into more than I ever would have thought it could be.
Yeah, it's the power of art, I think, when you really put yourself into it. And I know it's scary to open yourself up that much and, show the world this is me. But I think that bravery and that dedication to artistic integrity really, really shines through it.
Thank you, man. It's surreal because my whole life growing up, I didn't know that I would ever have a chance to tell the world my story. It was always be quiet, be good, be perfect for the family, and don't tell them that you're trans. Don't tell them what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, be loud, tell the world what you went through. You don't have to hide anything.
Yeah.
The more you add, the better the story is, because the story is my life, man. The collection is called "Hello, I'm Victor Fewocious, and this is my life." That's literally the title. And I thought they were going to tell me I couldn't title it that, but they're like, "Yeah, sure." And so it's me. And I mean, I was doing collector previews today, and we're talking about the details of the drop, mechanics. But at the end of the day, I told them, I said, "Hey, this is my life." That's what this means.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. Me either. It's crazy, yo. So let's talk about the painting sitting here. And you're known in at least the NFT space for doing crazy, awesome, successful, wonderful NFTs and digital art. So where did it turn into physical paintings?
So at first it was just you do 5 NFTs, 1 NFT representing each year of your life.
Right.
And I was over the moon, excited.
Yep.
But we're just thinking, what are ways you can add more to this and really tell the story? And Andrew brought up the idea of, what about archival pieces? And I would have never brought that up just because I was so happy that I even have this chance. I didn't want to poke the bear.
Sure.
But then it turned into poking the bear all the time. I'm like, yeah, what else can we do? I'm going to break all the barriers and try as much as I can.
Yeah.
And so it turned into, what if we include archival drawings from actual 14-year-old drawings that I did.
For your sketchbooks and stuff.
Yeah. And so I sat downstairs and spent the whole day looking through all my sketchbooks, scanning it. And then once we got that sorted out, it was like, well, I didn't start making art on my iPad. I didn't start making art on Photoshop. I started making art with Sharpie on my construction paper.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what if you brought back those roots? I mean, one of my super rare drops, I included a painting with the NFT, the original painting.
Yep.
And so it's not a new concept. It's something I've done before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, shoot, let's do it again.
Yep.
And I mean, I haven't painted really since I moved to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And this was my first time to really let it go and just paint my heart away.
Yeah, I see there's new techniques in here. There's I don't know, like I've seen your paintings before, but this stuff is like, it's almost more than the painting, I feel like, because it's, I don't know how easy it is to tell through the camera, but when you go up to these, there's stuff sticking out of them. There's many different textures, and like it makes me want to grab it and touch it. I know I can't, but
yeah, I was thinking CHRISTIE'S. I was thinking more than CHRISTIE'S. Sure, it's my biggest opportunity, my biggest debut in the art world. But what is it really? It's my life. And to make a collection and say, this is my life, that's a big statement, because life is everything. Life is all. And to say that these pieces are my life, damn well better be a big statement.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how can I push these paintings to the absolute max within this time frame that I've been given? And I was like, I want to see the painting stick out. I want it to look like little mini sculptures mixed with a painting. And I love texture. To me, texture is everything, because when I'm working on the iPad all the time, it's a little frustrating that everything is so flat.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't connect to my art as much because it's so flat.
Yeah.
And so when it came to painting, I said, I'm tired of working flat. I want to work with as much surface as I can get. And so I went to Michael's and bought all buckets of clay. Like we filled the cart with clay, and I stayed up for like 2 days at a time, working, busting my butt, just trying everything I can. This is my first time using spray paint as well.
Yeah.
My first time I printed out essays from school and pasted it everywhere. And they're total experiments. And I guess you can see me turning into like the physical painter that I also am, but haven't been able to explore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is like the first environment in your life to where you don't have to worry about materials. You don't have to worry about getting messy. You don't have to worry about people watching you the whole time. Yeah. You can just like really, put your life onto a canvas.
Seriously, it's so freeing to paint and not, when I was little, I've told you, but my room door couldn't be closed.
Yep. And
I wasn't allowed to really paint because if I was painting, someone was standing in my room watching me. Yep. And my grandma would come up to me and be like, that's ugly. I hate that. Or that's ugly. Why don't you do this instead? Or that's ugly. Why are you wasting your time? Yep. And that made me not want to paint. I would stop doing art.
Right.
And then I converted to digital, but it sucked that I couldn't move. I wanted to move and get messy and put all the colors and see it in my hands. But I couldn't do that. So now that I can, you can just see this explosion of creativity. Yeah. And of course, they all have lingering techniques. And I think when you look back at this collection, when I'm older, like when I'm 30 or 40 or 60, 80, you'll be like, dang, this is the first time Fewo actually got to create.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I look at them and it screams Fewocious at me in a way that none of your work has ever done that before. I mean, all your work does that, but it's at such a like level of intensity that's it's very, very powerful. Awesome work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about, I guess, the like archival pieces and the theme of each year and how that kind of took shape?
Okay, so the entire collection, Hello, I'm Victor Fewocious and This Is My Life, is an NFT for each year of my life. Yep. So 14 years old, an NFT 15, and so on.
Mm-hmm. And to age 18?
Yeah, to age 18.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with each NFT, you get the paired physical painting.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, you get archival pieces also minted as NFTs, corresponding to the age you get. So if you get age 17, you get 17 archival pieces, plus the painting, plus the one-of-one NFT. And then if you get 14 archival pieces, the painting, your the original NFT. And all of this is going to come cased in a trunk.
Yeah.
This really cool case that I designed, and it's really colorful and vibrant. And inside, I want it to be like fuzzy and fluffy, full of like fake grass and look really natureful, or like black and white swirlies, where it just looks not real at all. I want it to look so cartoonish and comical. Yeah. But that's the cool thing, because if you walk into someone's house and you see the Fewo trunk case thingamabob, you'll be like, oh, that's a flex. Like, and also,
for sure.
When I moved to Washington, I brought this big suitcase full of sketchbooks.
Yeah,
because,
I remember.
I was like, what do I bring to Washington? Well, clothes, I can buy new clothes. I can buy anything, but journals,
irreplaceable.
Paintings, you can't replace that at all.
Yeah.
So I just filled all my suitcases with journals. It was heavy as hell. And so I brought that big suitcase, and when I thought about what does right now mean to me, how did I get all of this, how did I do this drop, it's with those journals I brought. So I think the cases are like emotional baggage, full of archivals, full of journal entries that I'm going to print out. So when you open it, it just, all these journal entries fall out, and you can read, you see it cut up here, all these journal entries cut up on the paintings, but in the actual case, you could read the full things.
Wow. Yeah.
And you can see the drawings printed. You can see the painting and just have it all cased safely in this beautiful, kind of a new art piece itself.
Yeah,
case.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Very cool. So there's, I guess, 5 lots, right? And so each lot will represent an age of your life.
Yeah. And
each lot will come with one of these physical paintings that we're looking at right now. Unforeseen as of now to the public NFT that represents that you did recently, right? And then archival pieces of stuff you've done at that age in your life. And those are going to be as NFTs as well?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. So essentially, whatever age you get, you're getting that plus. So if you get 14, you're 14, you get 15 NFTs.
Right.
And if you get 15, you get 16. 18, you get 19.
Plus a physical.
Yeah.
And a trunk.
And a trunk.
Very, very cool.
I guess go over what each year means to me.
Yeah, please do.
So, year 14 years old, that's the first piece.
Yeah, which one is that?
It's this one. So this is year 14, and this is the paired painting. So each paired painting, I wanted it to be me now, reflecting on that age.
Right.
But the NFT is me at that age, how I felt at that age.
Like a point of view as is the NFT, and a reflection from where you are now to that point of age is the painting. Very cool.
So year 14 is called It Hurts to Hide. And, when I was 14 years old, I was hiding in the closet. No one knew that I'm queer. No one knew that I'm trans. No one knew how I felt, my sexuality. And it hurt really bad to be hiding myself all the time and acting and going to hang out with my family and like eat lunch or something. And then they would mention how I'm their favorite granddaughter, or I'm such an amazing daughter, and that, I don't know, my grandma would make comments of like, you should learn how to cook so that one day you can get an amazing husband, or shave your legs so you look pretty for different boys and stuff like that. And I hated that, first of all, anyone is spoken to that way. That's messed up.
I don't know if anyone likes hearing those things all day.
Yeah, it's messed up. And also, it just sucked that my family loved me so much as someone that I'm not.
Right.
And they would make comments. We would watch TV, and if there was a trans person on TV, they would laugh. They would point at the TV and start laughing at the TV and be like, look at that girl pretending to be a guy, or look at that guy pretending to be a girl.
Yeah.
And it was so messed up, and I would want to cry sitting at the couch, and I would try to defend them, and my family would be like, why are you defending them? Don't you know that God said that that's a sin? Don't you know that God made you the way you are for a reason? And don't ever try to turn into something else.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating that I knew if I told them how I actually felt, they'd just bully me and be mean to me. And I was already dealing with so much that it hurt. It hurt to hide. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This was the first piece I started with, and it was kind of the easiest to start with because it's at an age where I'm starting to question all of this and feel that pain. So it was easy to tap into that, but also it was really hard because when I was starting, I knew that I had all this ahead of me emotionally, like that I had to channel all of those emotions, and it was scary.
Yeah, I look at this piece and I almost see like a sad clown, you know, someone that has to pretend to be happy, has to pretend to go with the motions of life, but behind all that is sad and crying.
Seriously, that's how I felt all the time. And, you know, after 14, we go to 15 years old, and it's called My Mama's Dream. 15 years old is this one.
Yeah.
And My Mama's Dream is I didn't want to hide anymore. And I thought that maybe something was wrong with me. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough to be the gender that I'm told I'm supposed to be.
Sure.
And I thought maybe if I did my hair how my grandma wanted me to, if I wore the dresses, heels, learned makeup, and made my voice really high and did different like gestures, that maybe I would be loved more, and maybe I would accept myself or something more. And so for that year, it was especially hard because in my culture, you have the quinceañera, and it's celebrating becoming a woman.
Yeah.
And my whole family was like, are you going to have your quinceañera? You have to. And a lot of them were like, I didn't have mine. I want you to have yours. So it was like extra pushing that on me. And being like, I want you to celebrate becoming a woman. And it's like, but I don't feel like a woman. That's not me.
Yeah.
And it was hard. At the NFT, you can see an image of me forcing a smile on like a puppeteer. Like I'm a puppeteer forcing a smile on this fake version of myself, trying to please family, trying to please the world. And it was hard too, because in school, I had the best grades, I had best student. My teachers loved me, but they didn't know that I didn't want to go home.
Right.
They didn't know all the stuff I had to deal with. And, you know, I don't blame them, of course.
For sure.
But it's just hard when you have perfect grades and your family's bragging about you.
Yeah.
But then behind closed doors, it's like, hey, like, don't cut your hair. What are you doing? Why are you asking so much? Stop asking these questions. What's wrong with you? It's hard.
Yeah.
So weird. When I was working on these pieces, it was tough making it because the expectation that I'm going to show the world that this is my life. And I felt like a method actor. I would go on Facebook and search like all my family and search like old school things and really remember it all.
Right.
And I would like spend nights crying, working and just crying, being like, damn, I can't believe I went through this. I can't believe I'm here now. I can't believe this is for Christie's. I can't believe I'm showing the world that this is my life. And in that, when I show people that this is my life, they're going to see this, and people won't know me, but they'll see the art.
Yeah.
And then it was just this whole struggle of expectation, but also on like locking these memories that I kind of buried away.
Right. Yeah. I imagine it's probably, I don't know if bittersweet is the right word, but very powerful in the sense that like you had to relive a lot of these emotions and memories to be able to put them into art. And then I would imagine after you've created the pieces, it's almost like a release from that.
Oh, absolutely. When I finished year 14, there's this whole section of the piece where I draw in the NFT. I draw a witness stand.
Yeah.
And it's me wearing an astronaut helmet. And when I was 12 years old, I was sexually abused by my father my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I moved to my grandparents' house is because I told them what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we contacted child services. And then, next thing you know, I'm in a courtroom.
Right.
Full of people. And the judge is asking me if certain things are true that I had to deal with. And
right.
It's felt weird explaining these terrible memories that I didn't ever want to tell anyone. I held it a secret my whole life.
Right.
And now I'm telling these secrets to a room full of adults at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest moment of my life. But weirdly, it was freeing because I said, if I can do this in a room full of people, I can do anything. And so, reliving that and knowing that I'm going to tell people that I had to go through that was scary. And finishing 15 years old was scary.
Right.
Because, I don't know, it was scary to tap that in. And I think the hardest one, honestly, was 16 years old. Mm-hmm. Because 16 years old is when a child feels lost. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to the audio, it's just me crying and the NFT and yelling and screaming. And that piece is about suicide. I take the caution tape from year 14 and it's a noose now. And there's a bottle of painkillers. There's a tombstone at the bottom left that says, "Rest in peace, nobody knows my name."
Right.
Because if I died at 16, I would have died and people would see me as Victoria Langlois. Mm-hmm. And no one would know that I'm Victor. No one would know that I'm trans. No one would have seen my art. I would have just been like some sad statistic.
Yeah.
Not even like a trans statistic because no one would have known that I was trans.
Right.
And my family would just remember me as their lovely granddaughter that had perfect grades and was the perfect girl.
Yeah.
And I hated that.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe if I died, I could get revenge or something, or I could make them feel so sad that they would have accepted who I am or something. Mm-hmm. And it was this whole year of hating myself. I started to fail my classes. School started doing bad. My family was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I started focusing more on art because if I didn't do art, I would not be alive. I needed art. And the fact that I'm here blows my mind because I needed it. Mm-hmm. I was in therapy and my family took me out of therapy because they told me depression is not real.
Right.
And so when you don't have a person to talk to, when you're at school and nobody wants to be your friend and nobody wants to hear your thoughts, it's like, all I have is paper and my Sharpies.
Yeah.
And I drew my heart away.
Yeah.
And 16 years old, to remember that, to draw how badly I wanted death at the happiest moment of my life. Mm-hmm. And remembering that was scary and hurt, and reading my journal entries where I'm talking about that I don't want to be alive anymore. Yeah. It's like I just wanted to give myself the biggest hug. And I would cry. Sometimes I couldn't finish drawing that night. I'd be I know the deadline's close, but I can't finish drawing right now because it hurts. This is too much. And I would just lay on the floor and start crying. But I got through it. And I think that piece best shows how I felt. You can see red veins in my eyes from just crying so much that my eyes are sore. And you can see there's silhouettes of people walking towards death, and it's in trans flag colors. Mm-hmm. And I wanted that to represent all the trans suicide in the world, and how messed up it is that it's such a high statistic, and how messed up it is so many people don't receive help, don't receive anything. Mm-hmm. And I know at my school it was a problem. A lot of kids wanted to see the counselor, but there wasn't enough counselors. Right. Or parents wouldn't sign off. And I don't know, I just hope that with such a striking story like, I don't know, growing up, it was like, oh, you're sad, like, you're going out, you better smile, and don't let anyone know that you're sad.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I'd be crying at like the zoo or something, and my dad would be like, hey, don't cry at the zoo, like, we're at the zoo. Like, you better look happy, don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, part of me is hoping that with coming out with such my true story, but also such a sad, like, this is for real what happened. I don't know, I hope it encourages people, or I don't know, just to feel more.
Yeah, I think how art saved your life, it is cool because art has also put you in a position to where you can save other people's lives with your story.
That's like my dream. Like, I don't know, growing up, there's a model, and his name is Chella Man. And he's just a model and models for fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the first trans person I saw. Like, he was in like some advertisement for some like clothing company. And I'm like, whoa, like a trans man is in a advertisement, and he's like on the New York streets, and
right.
like being a model, a successful model, and seen as handsome and all of these things. And I admired that, and I hope, and it made me feel confident that I can do things and be in like an industry and be accepted. And so I'm hoping that maybe like there's some kid in their room making art and sees this and it's like, oh snap, I can do it too. Like, maybe right now people don't like me and people don't accept me, but I'll find people who will.
Yeah.
And that leads me to piece 17. It's called His Name is Victor.
Yeah.
And I think after
being triumphant ring to it.
After being so sad and really contemplating these sad thoughts, I was like, I don't want to die. I like life. I just don't like this environment I'm in.
Yeah.
And I made like a little pact. I was like, I promise. It's in the journals.
Yeah. In the trunk.
Yeah. It's like, I promise I won't die until I'm 29. 16 is right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm so close.
Yeah.
But I'm so far. And I think it was that frustration of like, I just want to be there already. Why am I not there? I waited all these days and I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. And it made me hate everything. And, you know, when I would get yelled at, it felt like the world. It felt like...
I mean, that is your world.
Yeah.
That's all you experience up to that point. Yeah.
But yeah, age 17, his name is Victor, is the opposite. It's, you know what? I promise I'm going to stay alive. So here I am. This is me. And if everyone hates me my whole life, then, oh, well, this is all I have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live this life hiding. I don't want to live this life as someone I'm not. I want to be me, and I want to do what I want to do, because my whole life I wasn't allowed to do that. So I'm going to try my best to do what I want to do. And this is just like a love letter to myself and a love letter to any trans boys. At the top of the piece, it says, "Dear little brothers, do you remember the first time you felt alone? The first time you felt scared?" And it's this letter about, you know, the first time you realize you are trans, and you're like, is that allowed?
Right. Yeah.
Who am I? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I'm scared now that I feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, you live up, and I was on the internet and I found other trans people, and I was like, oh, I'm not alone. So the letter is like, do you remember when you were scared? But do you remember when you realized you aren't alone? And do you remember the first time you felt accepted? And then it ends with like, I love you. Thank you for being alive. Love, Victor. And I don't know. This piece also made me cry.
Makes you want to cry too.
All these pieces made me cry. Just because it felt weird writing like his name is Victor. And knowing that I'm going to share this to this community, like the NFT space, it's an amazing community and have been so accepting, but it made me a little bit nervous to be like, oh, I've never really came out. Yeah. I kind of just like changed my bio really fast.
Yeah, it's so many people as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Everyone.
It's scary.
All at once, yeah.
And this whole thing is like for pride and for me, and it's like, geez, like all of you will know now my story.
Yeah.
And maybe some people won't like me anymore and they'll be closed-minded. And it was this whole like internal like, oh, I was here.
But maybe it'll change some people's perspective too.
That's true. Yeah, it's crazy. When I did my the first day of Pride Month, I posted a picture of like trans rights or human rights.
Yeah.
And it's just me existing. And I got a lot of DMs of people being like, hey, I didn't even know you were trans. And just like, you're so cool. I didn't even know. Like, hell yeah. And it was just comforting and nice.
Yeah. I can't relate to that 100%. A little bit though, like with my addiction, when I share that I'm a recovering addict, at first I was so scared thinking people were going to judge me and going to like think of me differently or something. But like 99.9% of the time, it's just like, congratulations, we love you.
Yeah. It's crazy though how in
your head, you're like,
yeah. But yeah, that piece, it's also looks a lot like me. I use the picture of me as reference.
Yeah.
And normally my art doesn't really look that much like me.
Yeah, almost a self-portrait.
Yeah, this one's like a weird self-portrait. Yeah. And I think it's my favorite because it's just so happy.
Yeah.
And it's my first time making a happy piece. Like an actually happy piece.
Yeah.
Normally I make art that looks happy.
Yeah.
But then there's sad undertones.
Yeah.
But this one, the only sad undertone is like just remembering all the trauma I went through. But overall, I'm happy and it made me who I am. And it felt weird to draw it and be like, this is just a happy piece. You can be happy.
Yeah. And
I think in that moment, we're like in LA and I'm finishing up the piece. And I had this realization where it's like, I'm at a new chapter of my life where I can just be happy. And it scared me because all my art has been about sadness and despair and longing for a hand to hold and escaping. And now it's like, well, I'm gone. I'm here.
You've escaped.
Yeah. So what do I make art about?
Right.
And it gave me a crisis, to be honest.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I can make art about self-love and growth and accepting myself. And at first I was like, that's cheesy. What the hell? But the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, do I love myself? What is that? And then we go into year 18 and I taught myself how to fly. And I wrote about, that one has a lot of writing. It's super abstract and messy and includes styles that I've done throughout the years. And I wanted to capture everything in my life, but also capture the confusion because it's like, I'm still 18 years old. So I can't really say that the piece is finished. I can't say that this piece captures all of 18 because we're only 6 months into 18.
Yeah.
But
it's been a wild 6 months though.
It's been so wild. 17, I didn't know about, and I found out about NFTs, but like, I was just finding out about it. But now it's like, I've been in NFTs. What does this all mean? And it very much impacted year 18 because in year 18, I texted you. I was like, look, explorers. And I wrote about meeting explorers that I care about and meeting this world of people that are there for me and accept me. And I told you, I was like, man, I don't know what I would have done if I never met you. I don't know how I would have felt because my whole life, I'm gonna cry. My whole life, I felt isolated and I felt like an outsider. And to meet a friend and to make a friend, I've never had a friend before, man. And I've never had like people that understand me and that like the weird YouTube videos and oh my God, and that like all the dorky like NFT, like talking about tokens and talking about different ways to make art that's regenerative and stuff. Like what? I've met my people and I've met people who appreciate what I do and appreciate what my friends do. And we're here now existing. And I taught myself how to fly is just a love letter to the NFT space, a love letter to life, because I write like, I'm so happy I'm alive and how beautiful life can be. And I'm flying.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, give me a hug. I love you so much.
I love you.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Victor.
Thank you.
You got tears in my eyes.
That's a collection.
There it is. On Christie's, June 23rd through 30th.
Yeah. It's my life. Like, actually, everything I went through. I was talking to Ryan, thank you, X. And he was like, Victor, how long did the collection take you to make? And I was like, I don't know, like a few months. Worked on it pretty hard. He was like, no. This collection took you years.
Took you your whole life?
Yeah. And I was like, dang, that's a way smarter answer. Way smarter. But it's true. Like, it's all my memories, all my everything, everything.
I mean, part of the collection is stuff from when you were 14, you know?
Yeah.
So it'd take years.
Yeah, it did. And here it is. And I don't know. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about how early we are, like, in the NFT space.
Mm-hmm.
And that art is going to be made that can't even comprehend right now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to get crazy for sure.
Yeah.
It's just the start of it. I'm glad we're here experiencing it together, and I get a front row seat for this crazy Christie's auction you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And it's an honor, seriously, because, you know, NFTs are going to become standard. You know, it's going to become part of the art world. It already is, but, like, even more so. And to be, like, the third or fourth NFT drop on Christie's. Possibly
the youngest.
I don't know.
Somewhere near there, I'll say.
is gnarly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm just happy to talk about it with my friend.
Yeah, me too. It's been awesome to see. I remember the first day you told me you had a Christie's drop. You, me, Jonathan, and Odious were, like, chatting on Discord. And you're like, gotta go, I have a call. And then you, like, went in the group chat. You're like, I have a Christie's drop. I was like, what? I remember going upstairs and telling Lauren, my girlfriend, that. And Lauren was like, what? I was like, yeah. People is going to be on Christie's. And we were all so excited. And then I remember going to LA with you for the first time, where we were in the hotel room and you like stayed up all night, like, outlining, like, the titles of the years and, like, what they represented and stuff, and sent that to Noah. And I remember going to Port Orford with you in Oregon at the Airbnb, and us just, like, doing crazy, like, art and brainstorming all week, and you filming everything and seeing the water and getting food, and, you know, you're working on it then. And then last time when we were in LA a few weeks ago, you just, like, working nonstop on your iPad on the NFTs, and it's so awesome. I'm sure it's way off your shoulders. It's way off my shoulders, just, you know, being your friend.
Yeah, every time I visit you, like, guys, I think I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, it's I'm so happy to see it all here together, and the NFTs are just as awesome. You know, the digital pieces are just as awesome as the paintings are, in my opinion. They both capture you and your style and yourself so well. I can't wait to see what the chests look like. That's so cool.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah. And I can't wait to be in New York with you and see all this crazy shit go down. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and being here if you made it this long. And I don't know, show some love, support, and support my friend. And I don't know, that's it.
Over and out.
Bye.